Hello and welcome to the Dash News podcast. This is episode 108. I am Mark Mason and I'm joined by my fellow host, Joel Valenzuela. How's it going, Joel?
Cheers. Just waking up with a nice little latte, getting that energy going. Don't want to be low energy Jeb for the podcast this time.
Did you say a little latte? That looks huge.
No, the huge ones are like bowl size. This is just a regular size one.
Right. Well, you're caffeinated and good to go. Happy Friday to everyone listening and watching. And on today's podcast, we have two special guests. And I'm really excited because there was a big announcement yesterday. So we've got them on the day after the announcement so we can learn more about the project and everything that's going on. So I would like to welcome the Aircoins CEO, Emal Safi, and the CMO, Brian Kitchin. Hello, guys.
Hey, how you doing, Mark?
Mark.
Hey, welcome to the podcast, guys. So, man, we've got so much to talk about. Yesterday in the Dash community, they had no idea this announcement was about to drop. When the news article came out, I think our Discord channel just lit up like a Christmas tree. People got really excited. I mean, typically in Dash, we have so many announcements and strategic partnerships, but we've not really had many announcements on the gamification or e-gaming side. So this has kind of been a bit of a first, really, for us. But for those that are watching and listening that may have missed the announcement or haven't read the news article on dashnews.org, if you haven't, go make sure you check that out. But after the podcast, of course, just give me a quick rundown. So for those that are unfamiliar, what is Aircoins in a nutshell?
So Aircoins is a geolocation app that allows users to collect cryptocurrency in augmented reality. A lot of people refer to us as the Pokemon Go of crypto. So for those of you who may be familiar with Pokemon Go, it's a very similar concept. So instead of kind of seeing Pokemon in augmented reality, you're able to go around with your cell phone and see coins through your phone that are in your digital environment. You're able to collect those coins and get added to your wallet. We just recently added Dash, so that's very, very exciting. But essentially, yeah, we're an augmented reality geolocation-based app that allows users to earn cryptocurrency
and have fun while they're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Emal, you're the CEO. I want to know the origin story. Are you just like a huge fan of like Pokemon, or like how did this all begin? How did it start?
Yeah, absolutely. We come from a tech and gaming background. We have a passion for gaming, passion for crypto, passion for mobile technologies. Coming from an esports background and having professional gamers go out and play Pokemon Go. And we're doing this. We're like, wow, this is amazing. You can kind of combine crypto with it, where you're actually going to collect something valuable, right? So it's just a perfect match, crypto, geolocation, augmented reality, and these, all these just enhance the overall, experience of using Aircoins. That's kind of we come from the background, so we thought it was a perfect kind of end result.
Excellent. So, Brian.
Yes.
So the news article went out yesterday. And it's done the rounds. In fact, I saw the article got featured on Cointelegraph, the Japanese version, but I need to translate it and check that out. But so there's a special announcement. So we understand it's an augmented reality. It's a free app to download on the Google Play Store and iOS. So people can no excuses. It's free. So you sign up. You have to verify by email, and then what happens then once you open the app? For those that aren't familiar with Pokemon Go, what would they experience? So you download the app, you create your profile, and then what happens?
Yeah, so I mean, sign up is very simple. All you require is an email address and a password and a username. Then we send you an email confirmation. to confirm your email address. And as soon as you open up the app, your screen will look something like this. So that's your wallet screen. So those are some of the coins that I've already collected. So when you open up the app, it lands on your wallet screen. Then if you hit the little kind of global map that we have there, it pulls up your street view, and then you can kind of see all the coins that are scattered all around you. So I would be the little blue dot in the middle there, and then the rest of those coins are all coins that are near me. So when you get within 80 meters of a coin, you're able to enter into augmented reality. There's a little warning message that says, to be safe and alert of your surroundings, and then you're able to kind of just look around through your camera and see any coins that are nearby. So you can't really see it right now, but there's actually an Aircoin right in front of me. Right there you go. You hear the little beep. So yeah, that's essentially it. When you open up the app, you're able to see an overhead view of the kind of your surroundings, and it shows where the coins are. And you just travel to the nearest coin, and once you're within 80 meters, you're able to open up your camera and see that coin in augmented reality and collect it and add it to your wallet.
Wow. So do these coins generate randomly? For example, if I was sitting next to you and we both open the app, would the locations be the same?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the coins are all shared. So if you're an Android user or an iOS user, it's the same coins that are around you in your environment. So yeah, if we were sitting next to each other, for example, and you collected a coin, 2-3 seconds before I did, and then I tried to collect it, there'd be a little message that would pop up that says this coin has already been collected. So you are competing kind of in a real environment with other people, if there are other players near you, for the coins in your surroundings.
Wow. Well, Joel, you've been testing it out today, apparently. So how have you been getting on?
Yes, I got a few different coins that were reachable from within my abode. I didn't have to actually leave yet, but rest assured it's going to be with me everywhere, annoying everyone I'm with. And like, hey, why are we going to that place across town tonight? There's a better place closer. Just trust me on this. Have not seen any Dash within eyesight, but it's only a matter of time, and I'll collect whatever else is in the way in the meantime. It is interesting because I do remember the whole Pokemon Go craze when that happened, and it like took over the world in a certain way that there was, it's where you could, something like people, there are always news headlines hyping different things happening as being so important or taking the world by storm, whatever. But it's when you look out your window and you can see it, it's something big. And so just looking out the window, I saw these packs of people going like that all over the place, collecting something that's not really worth anything, that they can't really do anything with other than being a sore or whatever. But now there's something you can actually, like, I don't think people completely understand the implications of this, that like, it's literally like running around collecting money off the streets while it's like playing a game at the same time as actually getting money. And especially with the introduction of Dash, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how people start to collect that and then try to spend it maybe, or see what they can do with it. And then eventually, if you want people to venture into certain areas or do certain things, you just scatter some Dash over there. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the whole gamification thing turns out with that. Does anyone know, by the way, what happened with Pokemon Go? I know they're still around, but what was their profit model?
Oh, they were huge. In-app purchases. And like Pokemon Go's first year in business made $850 million.
Wow.
So yeah, just in-app purchases. They'd sell you, Pokeballs, different various versions of Pokeballs and potions and elixirs and stuff like that. So mostly all in-app purchases was their revenue stream, which we are introducing as well. We already have some in-app purchases using AirX, so our own native token. We have a couple hunting tools that are available. We have a boomerang tool, so people can collect coins that are perhaps further or out of reach. So that's something that we are working on as well.
One major thing I noticed in the press release is that currently there are a number of tokens available for you to collect and hunt for, but Dash is really the first major one. And I believe because you have your own Aircoins token, but in terms of withdrawal, this is the first time that you can actually withdraw using Dash as well. Do you just want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, Dash has hundreds of thousands of ATMs around the world. And when Brian was down here in Toronto, we collected Dash through Aircoins, and we were able to go withdraw at an ATM, right? And that's the great thing about crypto is you can move it from platform to platform without having to go through any intermediaries. And this also means instant transactions. So you can go from augmented reality to Aircoins to the Dash wallet and then to the Dash ATM or even merchant, right? And that's the amazing thing. And we're the first, Dash and Aircoins is the first to do this. So we're really excited about that.
Well, what's the response been like in your community? Because I've noticed you've got quite a large Telegram group, and this was a big surprise for our Dash community seeing it, because for many of them it was the first time them learning about Aircoins. But what about your loyal following? Were they excited that Dash has been integrated? What's the feedback been like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone is really excited about the initial press release and announcement and video that we put together, and I think blew everyone's minds. But now everyone's kind of like, well, I haven't found one yet. I haven't, already people are how hard are they to get? Are they rare? Or, how much is it going to be? Because that's another thing too, is we will drop it in fractions as well, right? You're not running around collecting one whole Dash at, $150 or $160 a piece. So we'll drop fractions of it. But yeah, no, our community was very, very excited. There's still, I woke up this morning and there was over 500 messages that I was behind in our Telegram community. So people are already posting photos about it, and Twitter blew up as well. I think we have over like 60,000 impressions on that on our original post regarding the announcement. So yeah, no, so far community is very enthusiastic and very excited to go out there and start earning a top 15 market cap coin, right? So like Emal mentioned as well, it's accepted at over 4,900 retailers, a whole bunch of ATMs, a whole bunch of exchanges. So the name is there, the volume is there. So it's all around very exciting partnership.
Do you think this will help you open up? Because this is obviously the app is available worldwide, right? Or is there anywhere it's restricted?
I believe in China it's restricted. I'm not sure. Emal maybe can correct me on that, but I know at one point the app store had banned it because it was a cryptocurrency. But I'm not sure if that's still the case. But other than that, go ahead, Emal.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah, at the moment we're not in China, but to be available in China, you got to go through certain forums with the Chinese communities. But we'll work at, we want to follow the laws, but we also want to introduce these new kind of apps and games and assets too at the same time. So we're slowly working our way up.
Man, so what about emerging markets? Because there's a lot of there's an economic crisis going on in Turkey right now. News come out the last couple of days that even Italy's having some problems. But we've got big Dash community within Venezuela as well. So
that was one of my thoughts.
Yeah. So
I mean, think about this, especially if you get, it's an area with critical mass of merchant adoption, where you can actually do something with the currency, and it's not just really limited or third-party services. And a lot of people, there's a big effort in the cryptocurrency community to kind of combine the different, the two goals of, one, spreading the adoption of the cryptocurrency, and two, helping people who need it the most. And there's always been this like, how do we raise money for, how do we actually help people in countries like that? Like, do you raise giant chunks of money and just like send it to the people there that then have nothing to do, and then someone else profits from it by like taking a giant cut of it and turning it into money that they are familiar with? And it's like, what if, first off, you have a location where there's enough businesses set up to accept it for basic needs, and then you just sort of airdrop some coins, or you distribute some coins in the area, specifically around these kinds of places that then would have like signs out on the street, Dash accepted here, whatever, and then people could run around and get some, and then they can actually use it. It might be as much as like a gamified thing, like when people see like, hey, do you want to get a boomerang to get them faster or something? Some people might be like not like the way that looks to the outside, but sometimes gamification is the best tool for actually solving real problems. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yep, absolutely.
Go ahead.
All right, Brian.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, all that we're doing has been highly planned out, and we're doing this for specific reasons. Making it gamified because ultimately the advertising markets have really changed, right? No one is going to be clicking on your banner ads anymore, so we're creating a few new industries, right? Advertising, gamifying it, bringing the visual aspect to it so it's more memorable, driving foot traffic through maps, placing the merchants on the maps too. So it's a few new industries, and yeah, getting to your point, right? We're trying to get cryptocurrency out there, and then also there's the augmented reality on top of it, which if you haven't played Pokemon Go, you might sit and ask, what is augmented reality we're using too? Snapchat and stuff, they have the filters. That's augmented reality, right? So, with similar with Pokemon Go, you can see the coins on the map and Aircoins. You got to go near it in proximity, and then you'll be able to view it in AR. So again, a few new kind of industries and kind of platform that many people are not used to, but it's likable, and that's the great thing.
There's many business use cases for this, and I'm sure we'll get onto this. But one topic that's been raised constantly in the past, even outside the Dash community, I think there's a YouTuber called David Hayes, and with the situation in Venezuela really at its peak last year, dominating the news headlines with some horrific pictures coming out with people suffering. There was many talks within the cryptocurrency saying like, how can we get involved there and get cryptocurrency into the hands of the people? And people saying like, well, how can we do this? But how can we do it ethically? Like, should we get people to visit on a day to actually learn about it, how they can download a wallet, and then they'll get a little bit. But now I could foresee that distribution in a fair way could be easily utilized using a solution or a tool like Aircoins. Say, for example, if a proposal passed in the treasury for, I don't know, $50,000, for example, we could put that into Venezuela fairly, and then people can get that. Now, the kicker we've used in Venezuela, for example, is I think, Joel might have to correct me on this, there was some statistics given by, I think it was the Dash Text team who are based in Venezuela, and they said like 60% of the population in Venezuela have smartphones. So that might be a little bit of a restriction, but it's still good.
It's under 60, I believe.
Or under 60, yeah. So, however, though, it can still be utilized. I mean, there's a high concentration of merchants within Caracas in Venezuela and Medellin in Colombia, Bangkok, Thailand, where there's lots of merchants. So these kinds of tools could be really utilized to good effect.
Absolutely. And like even with, even if it is less than 60% of the population that has a smartphone, odds are somebody in that family or a relative or a friend would have it, right? So I don't know if maybe it's an aging population that doesn't have smartphones, or people who just can't afford it. But odds are they know somebody with a smartphone, so that would kind of help share that redistribution of wealth. But yeah, no, absolutely. Argentina, Venezuela, those were all things that we spoke about with Dash when we were kind of putting this whole plan together. So that's those areas are definitely something that we're going to be focusing on and trying to help out in any way that we can.
Absolutely, and as we know that emerging economies, are growing fast, and even mobile technology too. Right? Augmented reality wasn't possible because of our phones a few years back, but most modern phones have it. But yeah, getting crypto there, mobile and technology advancing, people moving, their assets, or they're opening up more crypto wallets. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Every region is gonna have kind of different needs. And yeah, I think with Dash and Aircoins, I think we can fit in both markets, right? Emerging markets and modern markets that spend a lot online or spend a lot in digital sectors. So I think we'll be filling in a lot of economies.
Excellent. Well, you mentioned the Dash Core Group biz dev team earlier on, and I know Ernesto in particular has been working very hard with you. Can you just give me the backstory? Like, how did this come about? When did you first started working together with Dash in the background to make this happen? Who made the first move? Who spoke to who?
I believe it was somebody on our partnerships team who put us in touch with Dash, and this has actually been in the works for quite a while actually. I think since like November of last year. So we put together a pretty kind of ambitious roadmap about what we wanted to do with Dash and what Dash wanted to do with us, and kind of the different sectors, like retailers and merchants, and as well as just economies, right? Of where we can make the best use of this. So it's been ongoing for a while, not just from like a kind of contractual standpoint, but also just a development standpoint, right? As Dash was releasing new developments, we had we've already done all the development so that the withdrawal functionality is available, and like you mentioned earlier, Mark, Dash is the only other coin as of right now, other than AirX, that's able to be withdrawn, right? And we knew that was going to be something that was going to be very important to our community, as well as new users that might be signing up, right? So we made sure to implement that right away. So that's all something that we've been working on, pretty well. I'd say almost 6 months now. So we were, I think, pretty fortunate to get in touch with Dash early on, and this is something that both teams have been working towards.
Okay, well, for those that are listening, Joel flashed his phone earlier in the podcast to show that he'd been using the application. Our Dash community is very tech savvy and privacy focused. So although Joel has downloaded the app and collected some tokens, from a privacy and security perspective, on data wise, are you keeping logs? Do you like on Joel's account, like on his home address, or what kind of data?
Are you sending a cruise missile to my residence?
Are you data mining it? And at any point in the future, would you sell that data on to other people? Is that part of the business model, or should people have concerns? Because that's a valid question.
Absolutely. So I mean, we learned from other companies, right? We learned from Facebook and these guys and how they operate as a business, and what's wrong to do with your customers, right? That's the reason why we love Dash, is because of its privacy kind of tied to it. And with Aircoins, privacy is important, and security. So the Dash collected on our app, you have to pick up your current location to drop or to better position coins for you. Now our business model is advertising, right? So we're not in the business of selling data. We're in the business of advertising and driving foot traffic. So this platform is for everyone. The assets on it, are decentralized. So that's awesome. So when you withdraw your coins from that, you can see it on chain, and you can see it being transferred, right? So we want to kind of, and it's all open. All of our information is open, and that's the reason why we've been kind of successful too. Is we want the users to kind of drive this, tell us what they want. So I think that's the most successful kind of model that we've ever to be.
How's Emal's audio, Mark? I know on my side I can't hear him.
Yeah. Emal's audio's gone a bit choppy for me. So maybe feel free to stay, but maybe for the next 5-10 minutes, we'll see if it improves. Hopefully it will do. Okay. So Brian.
Yes.
This is interesting because let's get on to the topic of advertising. So I noticed yesterday that in the Dash Discord, people are really excited about this, and they were like, well, there's so many use cases for this, and people are like, well, how can I use they wanted to actually use their Dash to make it rain in certain places. In the live chat, for example, I see we've got Edward, and Edward is an advocate in Colombia, and he's going to meetups, and he's involved in a lot of merchant adoption there. So it'll be a really useful tool for them within the app to say, like, okay, well, this is a great way at a meetup or a conference, or even at onboarding a new merchant, to get consumers to spend, to make it rain in certain locations. Is there any plans in the future to enable functionality within the app, so any of us could come in, kind of deposit Dash within the app, and then make it rain in certain areas?
Yeah, so that's actually something that was in our roadmap fairly early on. Before we started the live video here, we were kind of talking a little bit about roadmaps, and I mentioned that we don't currently have a roadmap, and there's a reason for that. And a lot of it is to try to stay ahead of our competition. We keep our roadmap pretty close to our chest. But yeah, that was something that we've talked about, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we had actually implemented it at one point. That we do plan on dropping or allowing users to drop cryptocurrency in specific locations. So we have been doing it for some events. Not too long ago, there was a blockchain conference, the Bitcoin Ben event in Texas. So for example, one of our partners, Rapids, we dropped a bunch of coins at that event. So we have been doing stuff like that on our side already, but we do plan on enabling that for users in the future as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good merchant adoption strategy for cryptocurrencies, right?
And that's kind of the idea behind our Cloudburst kind of hunting tools. So earlier I spoke about the Boomerang. So there's also a Cloudburst that's available, and what that does is you're able to pay for the Cloudburst with AirX, and that Cloudburst, once activated, drops a bunch of coins on your location. So if you had like a little get together or a lemonade stand or something, and you want to try to kind of draw in some foot traffic, well, you could purchase a Cloudburst and drop some coins on your specific location.
Joel, that would be ideal for you, because Joel runs a Dash meetup in New Hampshire. So that would be a very, there are meetups that happen all around the world within Dash. So outside of the Dash core group, because they are a Dash funded organization under the treasury, so there's many DFOs. So there are many people that will want to utilize Dash funding and use this as a tool, just not for meetups, conferences, merchant adoption. There's a real big demand from this, and I don't know if that was in your business model really to begin with, but I think that could actually be, and that seems to be the biggest demand that I'm hearing within the community. People actually want to spend Dash on your platform, not collect it. It's crazy, right? But they see it's such a powerful adoption tool.
Yes. So here's one of the biggest issues of the merchant adoption, and this has been kind of a crazy world that we're in, because the world has not had a similar sort of experience. New payment systems come and go. Now, credit cards took decades to get utilized, but they're payment systems for the current fiat currency system, and have large centralized companies behind them that are very invested in getting new customers and get investors, et cetera, to go do promotional activities to then hopefully get ROI later and things like that. Whereas cryptocurrencies are kind of like, it's just very loose and out there. And at the same time, you're asking people to change their money completely, not just their payment system. So there's always that critical tipping point of when you have, like, say if I am here in New Hampshire, right, which is it's a heavy crypto zone compared to the rest of the world. If I had a bunch of Litecoin, it's not very useful to me, because none of the merchants around here accept Litecoin. I believe it used to be enabled through one of the local point of sale systems, but they had so few people using it, they just disabled it. So I don't really know where I'm going to spend it. And it's like, I might as well just hold on to it or sell it for fiat. Now, if I have Dash, I can spend it places, but like I have to know which places I can spend it at. And there's a certain tipping point of like, is it worth like holding on to and trying to acquire and trying to spend it? And part of that is if you just sit in your own town or whatever, first off, you can incentivize merchants to just say, look, not only is this just the future and it's cool and all this stuff, but we will bring you lots more customers because you're already on Yelp or whatever business listing app, but you can also be on Discover Dash, the native app and website that we run that has like Dash merchant listing, and we can airdrop, or whatever the proper term is, we can distribute some coins right there, so Aircoin users can come in and just, oh, they discover your business and they take Dash. Oh, well, now I got it and now I can use it. And sometimes they can come in and get some and just be like, wow, I got it. And then the person behind the counter just says, hey, you want to buy something with it? And then there's like that teachable moment between the two. And so it's like a great way of maximizing the potential, because with merchants, it doesn't make a huge amount of economic sense yet to accept cryptocurrency. For the future, definitely. But like right now, they're not going to have so much extra volume that they're going to save so much in fees, or it's just not going to be a giant business thing for most people. But what it can do is get them like a recurring meetup, a whole bunch of extra people, things like that. And so if you just start throwing coins right in front of businesses that accept it, and then you can encourage more to accept it. I think this could be something that's very huge. In fact, if I were able to, I would definitely use Aircoins to throw Dash of my own Dash. Just give away my own money to just throw in front of all the businesses that I know would accept it around the world.
I'll send you my personal wallet, Joel. But yeah, no, absolutely, and I mean that could be an incentive for merchants as well, right? Is if merchants who don't currently accept Dash or any cryptocurrency as a form of payment, if you accept Dash, well, hey, we're going to sprinkle some coins around your location to help physically draw in foot traffic to your business, right? So I mean that could be an incentive for them as well.
Yeah, and it might be coordinated, and this is just like brainstorming on the spot, because it might be coordinated with like a national Dash Day or something like that, like a specific event that then is advertised and coordinated, where it's like, on this day we're going to distribute so much money or whatever all over the world at merchants and participating merchants, whatever. And so everyone knows about it. Everyone who doesn't quite know about it gets some advertisement or something, downloads the Aircoins app, and then it's like on that one day, everyone has their signs out and stuff. So I remember a few years ago, there was a little chocolate shop in Manchester, New Hampshire that accepted Bitcoin. I don't think they do anymore because the fees, et cetera, got too high. But they did accept Bitcoin at the time. And there was a conference called Liberty Forum, which had a lot of people who were into cryptocurrencies going there. And during that, the owner put a sign out, little chalkboard sign, had the Bitcoin logo on one side and just said like "Welcome Liberty Forum" the other side, specifically to cater to people who are in town for that one event. Now, can you imagine every single cryptocurrency conference that I would ever go to? And I have done this before. I've spoken at a conference and convinced food trucks ahead of time to accept Dash that are servicing that, saying like, look, I'm going to be giving Dash away to people at the conference. They're going to want to spend at your place. And then I've seen like dozens of people paying for their lunch and Dash at that moment. And it would be so much easier to just have a coordinated effort to do that with Aircoins. So I'm starting to get pretty excited thinking about all the possibilities of what I'm saying. What about you, Mark?
I'm super excited, as always. Well, look, I know already from pre-biz dev meetings that other DFOs that are involved with merchant adoption that also visit events, conferences, hold meetups. This is going to be a really powerful tool. And I'm really happy that Brian mentioned about foot traffic and businesses, because although yesterday there were requests just from individual users that want to make it rain Dash, imagine if you was a coffee shop and you just started accepting Dash and it was the first week. Imagine as a business, you could go on and instead of going down the traditional legacy route of doing advertising, which you don't really know how much traffic that really is generating, you're getting people to come and collect and starting a conversation. So just as that first week of business, so you're accepting Dash, that is a really powerful tool to have. And I really hope that not to put too much pressure on you guys, but I think if you guys can get that implemented ASAP, you're going to see it skyrocket. You're going to see people depositing Dash, making it rain, because it's such a powerful tool, and it's all about education as well. And one of the biggest hurdles with cryptocurrency is a lot of people hear about it, they learn about it, but people don't really get it until they've used it. And once they've used it that first time, that penny drops. And it's like walking through the door. You can't walk back once you walk through the door, and it opens up a whole new world. And that's why I'm really happy to hear that you can withdraw Dash within your app, because Dash has that ability and additional benefit where we have merchants where you can pay for goods and services. So I understand why people in your Aircoins community are excited, because they're like, yes, we can use this. Actually, you could just withdraw it and sell it at exchanges or ATMs, as you say, but you can also spend it as well. Dash is money. Dash is digital cash. But it's the business use case that I think is the real major selling point here, where initially, of course, most people want to use the app to collect Dash and tokens and, hodl or see what they can get and check out their portfolio of different tokens. But really, it's the business side, and I think it's really the advertising side, which is the killer aspect. So you mentioned earlier that there's no roadmap, but you must have ideas of features and stuff that you would like to integrate. Is there any features that you're looking to implement in the future that we haven't discussed that are in the near future that you think would be of particular interest?
There's a whole bunch of features. I mean, we've been pretty busy over here. One other thing that we've only talked about it so far is cryptocurrency, right? I mean, the only thing as of right now that our users can collect in augmented reality is cryptocurrency, but we could create anything. We just need to create a little 3D model. It doesn't have to be a coin, right? If McDonald's wanted to advertise with us, if Starbucks wanted to advertise with us, if they were giving away a free latte, we could create a little Starbucks coffee cup, and actually we already have for testing on our back end and to help pitch to retailers who want to advertise. So we could drop little Starbucks coffee cups around every Starbucks location in the world for just to incentivize our users, right? So if they want to collect a free coffee, or however we build that model, it could be collect 5 cups and get a free one, or buy one get one free, or whatever. We could tailor those coupons or those deals to every specific retailer and drop it on physical locations. So I mean, we're not only talking about incentivizing our users with cryptocurrency, we're also talking about incentivizing them with retail incentives, buy one get one free, discount codes, promo codes, and even just all kinds of stuff. We have one partnership coming up probably in the next month or so. I'll tell you guys what it is. It's a magazine. So it's a magazine called Blockchain Business Magazine. And they're out of Canada. I think they're available on about 133 shelves, in print. But the digital edition is available worldwide. So we're going to be dropping that magazine for our users. So after our users collect, 10 augmented reality magazines through the Aircoins app, they'll automatically receive a free digital copy of Blockchain Business Magazine. So now people will be able to not only collect cryptocurrency, but they'll also be able to, redeem a free magazine on blockchain. So they're able to educate themselves on the subject of cryptocurrency as well. So that's just another kind of side to the business model. We're not just talking about advertising crypto, we're talking about advertising almost anything, right?
So here's a question, which might sound a little dumb because I'm not exactly sure the capabilities of what are the limitations of a platform like this? And the thing I have in mind is, could you have some sort of a checklist? Like, for example, could you have where someone collects a coin, in order to finish collecting it, they can say they have to watch an advertisement video, for example? Is that's something that's doable?
Absolutely. There are different advertising models that we want to stay away from, kind of that, because those are kind of intrusive, and where that's the whole point of Aircoins is it's not intrusive, and fun to see these coins in AR. But aside from that, for our future kind of plans too, we're gonna heavily integrate more gaming functions. So, how about you guys have a 4-man team on Aircoins, and let's see who collects, which team collects the most crypto. So more gamification stuff being added. Avatars, you can pick up an avatar in Aircoins and represent yourself in AR, or so there's a whole bunch of other stuff too. So retail, advertising, gaming, crypto, right? And we're gonna just keep pushing this forward.
Yeah, I can imagine another thing of, for example, I know that in some places, like for example, the United States, mass fitness-based events are popular, like say, for example, a marathon or a cycling competition or something like that. It would be interesting to do a team-based, as you said, like a team-based, who can catch the most, and people who entered are, say, on a bicycle or something, and they just zip around town trying to collect the most. Although maybe it'd be better for a running type thing, because I'm one of the few people that does bicycle and text at the same time sometimes, and it's not advised. I would not advise anyone to do that. So maybe for safety reasons, it would have to be like a runner or scooter or something like that. But that could be a fun thing, distribution.
I would say keep it simple. I wish we had this integration when we was at Consensus, because imagine being at an event and not only could you just make it rain and just get everyone talking about Dash. If we had a Dash booth, we could make it rain at the booth and then bring everyone to there and then listen to what we've got to say. But in addition to this four-man team idea, events and conferences sometimes can be dull, right? You get speaker after speaker and it gets boring. Make it fun. Imagine having a little arena where you get 4 or 8-man teams and there's a confined space, and then they've got to collect all the tokens as fast as they can and then see who wins. And then you get people competing during the day. That's fun. That's easy. And it makes it fun and a family event. And because I've been to a few of these cryptocurrency events. It's like once you've been to a few of them, you've kind of been to them all, and I feel like it needs to be freshened up a little bit. So I see this as a really powerful tool, and I hope. I mean, because right now it's Dash Core Group, right, that you have to liaise with the Dash to distribute. That's why I think really if you can implement the feature for individuals and businesses to deposit Dash and stuff, I think you're going to see so much traffic come through your application. I know we would be pushing it. In fact, the DFO that both myself and Joel work for, Dash Force News, although Joel runs his own meetup, we have a Dash meetup initiative where we encourage and incentivize people to do meetups around the world. I would love to integrate Aircoins into that as well, because people are learning about Dash at the first time. And, this is, places like Africa, all kinds of it's literally all over the world, these meetups. And I know I keep like a parrot, I keep going on best, but like, I really, really want you guys to do this. I know the announcement was only yesterday, but even I want to make it rain. Imagine like just being at a barbecue with your friends, or just in the park, or just be in the pub with your mates and then just making it rain in the corner. Say, okay, I'm just going to drop one Dash over there just for a giggle. It gets people involved. And even the naysayers, we've all got friends and family that, didn't get in early or just aren't interested in cryptocurrency. This might actually help get them to engage. So yeah, I love it. I love the idea.
Regarding how the distribution collection works. So say I drop, say I want people at a meetup to be able to buy a pint with Dash. So I drop 10 units of $10 worth of Dash, right, in that location. Is there any way to reduce the chances that one person just eats them all up and then just has his night of drinking, is all like passed out on the floor before the night's over? Is there any way to make it so that like each user kind of sees one of them?
Yeah, we can add all kinds of checks. So yeah, we can do that. And yeah, right now we've just been kind of doing it randomly. We sometimes don't even know where the coins are kind of going to be, so it is random. But yeah, you can make it specific. You can make it specific where it shows up in certain times in certain areas. So yeah, end goal is, yeah, we have that control. We can make it happen.
Yes, I have another idea of application for this, which this is how Dash becomes the most annoying presence at any crypto conference, but it's worth it. Whenever someone's giving a Dash presentation, distribute a bunch of Dash in there, so then like everyone goes in to listen to that talk, whether or not they're actually listening. At least the room's packed full of people, so it's like, wow, the Dash talk is bumping. Everyone is in there all looking around for the Dash, and it's not the same as like bribing people to listen to a lecture, although some people might kind of see that sort of a thing. But if you say, hey, we go to a conference, this is our strategy, we have the table, we have some talks, we set people up with wallets, etc. But as part of that, we try to tell people, hey, get your wallet set up, because we will be distributing some coins around. And you just strategically, it's like, oh, it's lunchtime, and then you just distribute a bunch around like the one food truck that it takes Dash, and then people are all going around getting it, and then, oh, I might as well buy it there. Or like, oh, guess what? Ryan Taylor's taking the stage at Consensus, and all the coins are in there, and people go in there. It might seem like some people might get all unfair, like it's unfair, but it's only because they didn't think of it first.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome idea. I mean, that's just one of the many possibilities, right? So something else to kind of touch on your earlier point of other developments that we might be working on. Emal mentioned avatars as well, so that's something else that we're working on is 3D customizable avatars. So you'll be able to take a picture of yourself or upload a photo and customize your avatar's facial features, change your hairstyle, your hair color, your eye color.
That's what you've been looking forward to, right, Mark?
Yeah, man, you sold me on the hair bit. Like, I'm definitely down. I want, so I can upload my like Stay Dashy avatar. Could I customize the sound as well? So like, because I noticed when you get the coins, it kind of makes that Mario coin noise, like ding, ding, which is cool. But maybe if I could have like a Stay Dashy avatar, I can go like Stay Dashy.
Or even better, just when you collect a coin, it makes the air horn sound.
Yeah, true.
That is a sacred and special place in Dash memology.
Yeah.
Your avatar, you can make it so you can customize the shoes, the shirt. So you can have a Dash T-shirt for your avatar, for example, or Dash shoes, and you can buy the digital asset with Dash, or let's say with Aircoins, etc. So yeah, we want to make it in, and this goes back to the proven gaming models, right? Fortnite, PUBG, and all these other gaming games that are, profitable just because of their characters or avatars or in-app skin upgrades, right? So we're excited for bringing that out. I think that's going to make it extra fun. And then so after you dress up your avatar, you can portray it in augmented reality, do a selfie with it, or make somebody else take a selfie with your avatar. So it's a combination of again, gaming, crypto. So yeah, we're just trying to make it fun.
I wonder if you can do some kind of affiliate sharing as well, where, say, for example, if you have a link and you can share it to your friends via WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, and then if any of your friends then download the Aircoins app, they get some Dash in return for redeeming that and downloading the application. That way you get mass adoption, and then it goes even more viral. What do you think about that?
I think one thing that would be good to be able to do, again, I'm always thinking about how to get Dash used more. Whether or not it fits within one application is a different story, but it would be nice if you had like a Dash prize that when people ran up and got it, you could withdraw after you install the Dash wallet and discover Dash. Like, they would make you install both apps. If there's a way it could do that, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be for everyone or for every giveaway, but it would be, hey, if you install the official Dash wallet, and this might be a thing because evolution is right around the corner. Oh, so we're going to have blockchain usernames for Dash in the official Dash wallets and in the new Dash Pay wallet. And not necessarily in all the multi-coin wallets or the other things. I mean, one thing I've noticed is a lot of providers tend to not give special features special love. They just tend to be like, is it Bitcoin based? Good. We'll just Bitcoin J base it. Boom. It works, but that's it. But so you might have people that say, oh yeah, I have a Coinomi wallet, I have a Jax wallet, I have an Edge wallet, I have whatever. I'll just like put the Dash in there, but then they don't get to experience Dash as it was meant to be. They don't get to see that their transactions are confirmed instantly. They don't get to do username stuff. So it's like, no. You want the Dash, you want free Dash? You're going to have to download and get a username and get a Discover Dash app to at least like you open it and see, oh, there's places around me to take it. And then you get the Dash. That might be pretty fun to do to help people out, get on board with the mass adoption train.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, I mean, that's our goal, right? Is mass adoption. We want to put cryptocurrency and Dash in everyone's hands around the world, right? So I mean, that is our goal, is mass adoption, and that's kind of why we've paired it with augmented reality and gaming. So we have all these kind of different revenue streams and business models and developments underway, but everything is to reach our goal of mass adoption, right? We want merchants, we want retailers, we want people to accept Dash and cryptocurrency in general. So I mean that ultimately is our goal, and there's no easier way to get involved in cryptocurrency than by downloading Aircoins. I mean, I've tried telling my parents about Bitcoin, over 2 years ago, and it was like talking to a wall, right? They didn't care. They had no idea what Bitcoin was, and let alone any of the other coins that are out there as well, right? But my parents do play Aircoins. They do run around and collect coins for free, right? So I say free, but it's not really free. I mean, the app is free, of course, but even Joel, you've mentioned the term airdrop a couple times on the call, and I think you kind of caught yourself once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really like using the term airdrop. We're not an airdrop service, so that's something I want to make clear to the people that are listening and to our users. We call it proof of effort. So
it's good.
Yeah, nothing in life is free. Your cell phone or your smart device that you're collecting coins on, it wasn't free. It wasn't given to you. Your Wi-Fi or your data connectivity that you're using to collect these coins, that's not free. So and your time isn't free either, right? Time is money. Everybody's heard that expression. So our users are incentivized to collect cryptocurrency. It's not free by any means. Nothing in life is free. But that's just something I want to get across, is we're not an airdrop service. We're not an airdrop platform. We call it proof of effort, and effort is rewarded. The harder you hunt, the further you walk, the further you travel, the higher your incentives get. So if you haven't found any Dash yet, and if you've only been collecting it, inside your home, well, maybe try going outside, going for a little bit of a walk, and see if you could collect some Dash.
You hear that, Mark? You hear that, Mark? No, but that's a very important distinction. I'm glad you brought that up, because this whole concept of the airdrop is it's something that's in the crypto space that like people just think, oh, I just get a bunch of free stuff. And it's kind of a giving people free stuff in exchange for just kind of a dishonest way of trying to say pump the price or do something else. It is kind of a seedy thing, whereas proof of effort is a voluntary exchange. It's not just, hey, here you go, get your free coins, and we're gonna get our value out of that later in some other kind of not upfront way. It's more of a, look, you go there, we want you to go there and pick it up, and you're paying by your effort of going over there. When you're over there, whoever is over there at the other end probably had some sort of incentive in that whole transaction. But it's an interesting, some would call it a hair split, but it's absolutely not a hair split, of a different paradigm of, yeah, we're just going to do something splashy to have a pump effect, rather than we're trying to build something lasting and meaningful.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it, right? I mean, there is similarities, but there's a pretty solid distinction. I mean, you have to travel to get these coins. I mean, if you like you said, you collected the coins that were in your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you open up the app and you look again, is there more coins? Probably not. Not within that radius that you are already collected, right? We won't just continue dropping coins on a specific location where you think you could just sit there and just keep breaking them in, right? If you're not putting forth effort and if you're not clearing a small area of the coins immediately around you, there's not going to be more coins that fall, right? So again, that ties back to the proof of effort. The more effort you put out, the more you're rewarded.
I'm not sure if this qualifies as proof of effort, but there's a suggestion in the live Q&A that Aircoins could invite the My Dash Wallet bot into their Telegram group so they could make it rain and tip your community there.
We might just have to get like a Dash donation address and
proof of D.
Yeah. People can donate the Dash that they want, and we'll drop it. We'll drop more in the app for everybody.
Well, that's an interesting point, because that reminds me of, there was a stress test on the Dash network a few months ago where it reached, what was it, 3.2 million transactions in a 24-hour period. And of course, that requires some fees and et cetera to broadcast. So what happened was there was a donation address or a donation function in the My Dash wallet bot that people could use to like throw some of their spare change into doing this. So the community actually funded the stress test, and just randomly, especially when people were like in hype mode about like, oh, just evolution's right around the corner, donate, with however many mil Dash to the thing, and then boom, and oh, we're almost there. And so something like that could be pretty interesting, where there could be an event set up. So like, for example, Dash's 5-year anniversary, and that just hit. So how about like the 6-year anniversary, or Evolution launched like maybe it'll be like a month after, or something like that, to where people actually have a chance to get wallets and usernames, etc. But there could just be a distribution event, and then it's so to speak, bankrolled by the community, because there's already going to be some Dash that's going to go out, but you can donate to it more through, say, something like My Dash Wallet, and then it just grows the pot and grows the pot. And, oh, it's so big now. And then eventually, kaboom, it just gets scattered to the corners of the earth, and then everyone runs around and collects it. And I'm sure people who donated to that would be very interested in seeing the results of it. It's not just so much of a, hey, we did a little drop. It's like now you have a lot of people that are invested in checking up on what happened with that.
How are you guys doing for developers? Because I see you could take this in so many different directions, and I can see from big demand, a lot of weight on your shoulders. Within the Dash community, we have a kind of a developer thing, and they're always looking to get involved. So if you ever need any extra developers or help or extra insights, there will be people in the community, foaming at the mouth, shaking, waiting to get involved. So how are you guys doing in your team? Because things are scaling for you guys, and when you grow, you've got to scale the team, but getting people that've got that not just the ideas, but also the blockchain know-how and insight to integrate and make these ideas happen. It's difficult to find those people sometimes.
Absolutely, you make a good point. You make a good point here, Mark. And yeah, the development for Aircoins is a little specialized. So you have augmented reality, you have cryptocurrency, you have Google Maps, you have Amazon servers, and you have other specialized. So our team, and we've been pretty. Our team has come from us from previous projects, and our CTO has developed lots of different kind of platforms, and comes from a great experience. So yeah, we're willing to grow. We want to grow, and we're willing to work with people that want to help out also.
Excellent.
So with that being said, we'll take them all. Every developer you got, send them our way.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah, I know there's a few people that have been very interested in your app, and they've come with some really good business ideas. So that's why I was kind of interested in hearing about your business use case, because I was like, well, I don't know if they have that planned, but I think that's probably better for a private conversation. So what I'll do is I'll point those people towards Ernesto, and then you guys can have a chat behind the scenes, and hopefully that will speed up some of the cool features and functionality for the Dash community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're always looking to network with developers and other projects. But something else to keep in mind, just over the length of this call, we've talked about a lot of ideas. But something to make note of is that we are an entirely self-funded project. We didn't have an ICO. We didn't have any type of public raise. So I mean, we're kind of working at our own pace as time and budget permits. But we do have a lot of plans. So I mean. And that's also kind of why we don't have too much of a specific roadmap. I mean, I think we're fairly open with our community, especially on Telegram. We answer questions all the time that our community may have. But we kind of work at our own pace and develop what's more pressing to us and to our community. So I mean, we've talked about avatars. We've talked about Joel wanted the ability to drop for users to be able to drop coins, and that's all stuff that we've spoken about in the past and that we are considering. But again, there's no real roadmap or timeline in place for some of these kind of goals, right? So avatars, for example, is something that we're working on, and I think we're actually supposed to be testing those in the coming days, actually. But we have so many ideas, and like you guys have even said yourselves, you see all the different possibilities and all the different revenue streams or business models that we can go here. So that's kind of been a struggle on our side too. Is what is priority, right? So I mean, that's but again, we're entirely self-funded and kind of moving at our own pace, and partnerships like the one with Dash, those help a lot, because it does bring in new users, possibly new developers, and just more networking opportunities, right? So I mean, that's just something I wanted to point out, is that we've covered a lot of subjects and a lot of different kind of developments that we might be working on, but we don't want to overpromise that we're going to do something and then we're not. But there's just so many different things that we are working on, that just want to kind of make that clear, that we are an entirely self-funded project, and we are kind of doing things on our own timeline.
Would you ever consider going Dash exclusive if funding was provided? I have to ask the question, because if funding is an issue, we do have a treasury, and typically with integrations, we've had proposals being submitted before, but in return for funding, obviously the network would want something in return for that. So even if it wasn't exclusivity, at least some kind, just like how Dash has got the withdrawal part, but if that would actually speed up, because I'm sure, especially I'll see him nodding, I'm sure he's got like 1,000,001 ideas. It's just there's not enough time and people to make it happen. But if it's a case of being able to allocate time to get more developers to get these ideas and make it happen, faster, because I'm sure there'll be rivals, popping up. So you need to take advantage of the situation. And if the network sees the promise in it, I already know from our mission objective and our operations how we could utilize you as a tool. Individuals in the community already want to, submit Dash and use it. So, and I'm sure people with kids and stuff thinking this is a great way to keep the kids entertained and get them active. Like, stop playing on that Xbox, go play in the park, go and collect some Dash. Like, there's so many aspects with this, but for me, I'm just thinking the business side. So have a think about it. We also have the Dash Investment Foundation, but that's probably going to be a month or two. But I mean, that would involve taking a stake or some form of equity. But there are options on the table. So there are discussions to be had. I'm sure Ernesto has probably briefed you on this already. If not, I'll be happy to guide you the way forward. But yeah, like, have you considered this, or do you see that as a no-go? Do you want to remain blockchain agnostic?
Yeah, absolutely. The options are there. We do want to grow. And this was the first step to kind of proving ourselves that, hey, this actually works, right? So as you guys said, we just got announced, yesterday. So we want to we want to prove the model, and we want to make sure everyone's good. And yeah, we would love to continue working with Dash. And yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that we can do from a variety of different, different kind of businesses and models. But yeah, we're excited. We want to just, we want to continue proving that, we can do it and this works. And we're looking forward, and I'm sure we can grow together.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's all pretty, like, everything's moving relatively quickly, but it is just the amount of excitement and is kind of testament to the potential of something like this. Like, if it was just, oh yeah, that's fun, that's a good service, well, thanks for having us on, let's, get off with you then, enjoy your weekend. But it's like, well, what about this? What about this? Do you want to just work with us?
Yeah. I want this tomorrow. Let's make it happen.
Well, here's the thing. For those who might not have paid close attention over the past few years, although most people listening probably have, Dash has been sort of like the black sheep of the crypto family, where just a lot of people just don't want to talk about it. It's just like kind of like the Ron Paul of crypto, where it's just like, here's the person that came in first, here's the person that came in third and fourth, but not the, just kind of like not mentioning. It's just, not the cool kid. And so Dash has done a lot of exclusivity agreement type things to maintain that kind of to counter that always being left out situation. I guess it's like the Dash community has been listening to a lot of all the single ladies, right? Feel like you should have put a ring on it. It is what I put a ring on is lock businesses down, be like, no, you're ours for good. And so that's where this kind of sentiment sort of comes from, and just thinking like, wow, this is good potential. And like, what if it could be only Dash having all the fun? And so that's just where the thought is.
And it can be term-based as well, like Alt 36 for the cannabis industry. We had a 36-month agreement. But I mean, there's always different options, and we can explore those off camera, of course. I just wanted to let you know there's options on the table. I'm very excited about this, and I think we can take this in many directions. We have had some comments in the live Q&A. I know earlier on we touched upon the data and the privacy aspect. Now, this particular question put forward is about Pokemon Go experience. I've not used Pokemon Go myself. Please don't hate me, people watching, listening. So I'm not sure. Hopefully this question will make sense to you guys and you can speak to it. So a question is, how do you counter the address spoofing and automation that people were doing on Pokemon Go? Are you familiar with that? Was that a vulnerability within Pokemon Go? Is that...
Yeah. So address spoofing or GPS spoofing is essentially, like I mentioned earlier, we're a geolocation-based app. So we ping your physical location when we drop coins around you. So yeah, there's people in Pokemon Go, they would kind of spoof their location. So they would trick their GPS into thinking that they were at a different location in order to collect, a rare Pokemon or something like that. So GPS spoofing is a concern. It was a concern that we had very, very early on, and we have security measures in place to prevent people from doing that. And we could typically tell on our back end if someone is doing it. If we have a user in Japan that just collected 50 coins, and all of a sudden he's in Canada and he just collected another 50 30 seconds later, well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this guy's cheating the game. No, we do have security measures in place for that, and that's something that our developers are always working on, because that technology is always improving as well, right? There's always new GPS spoofing apps that are coming out, so we make sure to stay on top of that as well, to make sure that people aren't cheating or taking advantage of the system. And I believe it's even in our terms and services as well. That GPS spoofing will not be tolerated, and your account will get banned if we catch you doing that.
And guess what? You don't just lose all your Charizards or whatever. You lose like your coins, probably.
Yeah.
So there's that problem. You start cheating and stuff. All of a sudden, all your little bags. And that would be funny, by the way, if there was a automatic distribution that would happen when someone's proceeds. It's just like, oh, we caught another one. Here's all their coins, and they just get scattered around. It's like, oh wait, that could be me.
Yeah, that's
like with like Sonic the Hedgehog when he hits like the spikes throughout and all the coins come out of him.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the app now, so I've downloaded it, and I've noticed you have a shopping cart option, so like a store. You mentioned the Cloudburst earlier, and there's a few different options. Do you just want to talk through like some of these options here and how they differentiate? Because I think that may interest our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah, so it's fairly straightforward. There's three different versions of a cloudburst. There's drizzle, rain, and thunder, and they have different price points. All three essentially do the same thing. That's the one that just will drop a bunch of coins on your location. So drizzle is the smallest one. You'll get a couple coins, and then if you get rain, you get a couple more. Then if you get thunder, you get even more. So the multipliers get higher and higher. If you were to buy the biggest cloudburst, the thunder cloudburst, you get just a whole bunch of multipliers. So you're able just to collect a lot more coins. So those three cloudbursts are pretty well all the same, just different variations, different sizes. And then the boomerang tool is the one that we mentioned earlier as well. It extends your range from 80 meters to 500 meters. So if you have, if there's a lake or a river or a freeway or some mountains, something that's preventing you from collecting nearby coins, you're able to purchase that boomerang tool, and you're able to cast that. You're essentially able to cast like a 500-meter net around your location, as opposed the coin being directly in your 80-meter radius. So you're just casting like a 500-meter radius net, and that'll draw the coins in closer to you, so you're able to collect them. And that's essentially kind of like one of the utilities behind AirX, right? I mean, we were one of the few cryptocurrency projects that I know about that had a kind of utility case before we ever listed on an exchange. So I mean, we added that specifically so that people can see the potential with AirX. So hunting tools was one of the first things that we did. So people were able to use the AirX that they've collected in the Aircoins app to purchase hunting items. So there's kind of like that utility there. And in the near future, we're going to be working on depositing AirX as well. So someone will be able to purchase AirX from an exchange, deposit it to their Aircoins account in order to fund their in-app purchases, which, right now we only have the 4, but like we mentioned earlier, we're going to be introducing more in the near future, and that'll be through the use of AirX.
Yeah. So there's in the live chat when you was talking there, loads of comments started flying in, just talking about the thunder, the rain, everything else. Someone was quick to say, "Is there an option to buy rain that's only Dash?" Like, people want to use this. Someone mentioned about a AirX to Dash trading pair would be neat and cool. And that's actually quite a good point. So before the integration with Dash, there was only the option to withdraw the AirX token, correct? So yes. All the other tokens that people would have collected, you would have to exchange, because we haven't really spoke about the exchange side of it. So you could exchange those tokens into AirX and withdraw. Now you can withdraw. Is that correct, or have I misunderstood?
Yeah, no. So we're working on the ability to be able to withdraw some of our other partner coins as well, but a lot of that largely depends on the actual partner, right? So when Aircoins launched over a year ago, and I mean, make no mistake, our app has been on the App Store for over a year now, right? This is our project is nothing new. It's just we've been kind of just slowly plugging away, like we mentioned, and we are entirely self-funded. So a lot of people are hearing about us for the first time, but we have been around on the App Store for over a year. So a lot of our earlier partners, they were lower market cap projects. So if for us to be able to enable the withdrawal function, well, if they're not trading on any exchanges, or if they don't have a lot of volume or liquidity, or they're not on CoinMarketCap, it's going to be hard to do that, right? So I mean, we are working on enabling the withdrawal feature on a lot of our partners. However, that takes time and development as well. So, and like I said, we're kind of prioritizing where we put our focus. But there won't be any type of trading coins or pairs within the Aircoins app itself. We are not an exchange. We don't want to be perceived as an exchange. So at no point will you be able to trade Dash for another coin. If anything, we can be more compared or likened to just a cryptocurrency wallet. So someone can collect various tokens in the app and be able to withdraw them to an exchange or withdraw them to another external wallet and do what they want with it at that point. But at no point are we going to be enabling, at least not as of right now, unless laws change, then we might consider doing that in the future. But in our current roadmap, we're not considering having any type of in-app exchange between coins, because that would essentially label us an exchange. We already have kind of a hard enough time with Android and iOS, specifically iOS.
I wonder why.
So that's just something that as of right now is not in our roadmap, is being able to swap coins for each other.
But the amazing thing about Dash is because of the market cap, right? So this allows for liquidity. So exclusively we are going to plan out how to kind of make Aircoins and Dash kind of the base pairs. But the Dash has a huge market cap, a lot of exchanges. So even if you can't swap it out in app, you can take it out to the exchange, you can swap it out there. So we're staying away from the exchange side just a little bit for the moment, just for a variety of different reasons. But you can definitely see some more integration between Dash and Aircoins coming in the future. And yeah, we're on the same, we want to work together on whatever the community is kind of asking for, right?
Well, how about this then? Would this be off limits for you? Say, for example, I know a very talented developer that already had the skills, because I noticed Brian mentioned the term wallet there, because before we were talking about withdrawal, but there's the option to have that wallet there. And we're talking about being user friendly and being open to everyone. And we want people to really use Dash to buy goods and services. So in addition to the withdrawal, if they're holding Dash in there, technically like a wallet, if there was an easy way to have, say, for example, if we funded a developer to work for you and integrate with that wallet a Dash payment option, so within the app, people can go out, collect Dash, and then they can go to a merchant, and then they can stay within the app. They can open up their camera, scan a QR code, and pay with a Dash directly from within there. Would you be willing to work with developers to do that? Because I want to hook you up with a meeting with a developer I know straight afterwards, if that's the case.
So you were saying for somebody to be able to pay with Dash directly from
so you don't have to leave the app, you don't have to withdraw your Dash to another Dash wallet. You can
already do that.
Oh, you can do that already. Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, you guys haven't found or collected any Dash yet, but when you do, you'll see the send function there, and you're able to send it to any Dash accepted address.
And it's instant send enabled, correct?
Well, I mean, that's what Dash is, right?
Yeah.
Like everything's instant send by default.
Excellent. So cool. Fantastic. Well,
I have one final question on all that kind of stuff. Have you had any plans to integrate Evolution usernames when they come around in a couple months or so?
We've talked about it before, and we're actually open to it. This is great because we believe that the Dash ID is going to be replicated across many systems, kind of like a single sign-on, right? Kind of like your domain names, where you have an IP address, but your domain name is attached to your IP. So yes, we will have, we've talked about this before with Ernesto and John. So yeah, those options are open. We're looking through.
Yeah, because that would be fantastic. Because one of the whole moving crypto on and off platforms, I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people just keep it on one exchange or something like that. It's just that I mean, there's a lot of friction based on sending and confirmations, and then copy pasting the address, looking, make sure the address is okay, switching out addresses if they don't want to like compromise their privacy, all this kind of stuff that has to do with the way cryptocurrencies work. Wouldn't it be fantastic if it was all, username based? And so, more importantly, if you could just say you have your regular Dash wallet, and then you log it with Aircoins with your like auto withdraw just to your username. You don't have to copy and paste out this long address or anything like that. You just say send a username, send a username, send a username. Or if you're out there, for example, if you want to send to like a friend or something like that, then you're just running around collecting, I collected some. You just like put in his username, send it right away. You don't have to be like, hey bro, I want to send you some for your coffee. What's that address again? Big long thing and copy paste. Oh, I missed something up, and
So we have that enabled in the app as well. You're able to add wallet addresses to like a little wallet list essentially, and then you're able to select between them. So if Joel, if you went to the same coffee shop every day that accepted Dash, you could put that coffee shop in your saved addresses directly within the Aircoins app. There's also a QR code scanner as well. So if you happen to go to a different coffee shop that day that you don't regularly go to, and you don't want to save the address, you could just use a QR code scanner just for a one-time payment. But if it's a repeat transaction, someone that you're doing business with often, you could add a whole bunch of Dash addresses directly within the Aircoins app, and they're saved there. And you could also save it as like a preferred address, so that it's always it'll always go to that one every time you open the app. So you'll see those options as soon as you collect a Dash coin. You'll see the kind of wallet configuration there to be able to send.
Okay, so it turns out I had one more question. This is a little, just things keep coming up. Do you know what Dash text is?
I don't.
Okay,
maybe I'm always familiar with it.
It's an SMS-based wallet to where you just text start to a number, and you can just say send this, that to another phone number, or do it. So Dash text,
very, very, very popular in Venezuela and Argentina.
Yes, in fact, it's a Venezuelan company. We know the people who started it. It works, I believe, in Venezuela and Colombia, and now in the U.S.
Nice.
So you can just, with a flip phone, whatever sketchy flip phone you want to have for whatever reasons, because you're old school or whatever, and you get gold bricks under your bed, I don't know. But you can use Dash and just send it to someone in Venezuela today. In fact, there's 2 different schools that now have their school cafeteria accepts Dash through Dash Tech specifically, that you can pay for school children's lunches, who can't afford it over there. So what if Aircoins could also, in addition to like your withdrawal address, what if you could have like a Dash text integration? Of course, I can hook you up with the developers for that too, so that you could just withdraw to a number. So say someone says, I'm just going to run around and collect a bunch of Dash, and all of it is going to go right to someone who I know needs it more than I do.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome idea. Like you said, it's like possibilities never end, right? So that's definitely something that we could look into, especially if you guys have the developers for that. But more importantly, I think we need to drop some Dash at those kids at that cafeteria.
Yes. Now, of course, with Venezuela, not everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
And in fact, someone from that country did mention, was very excited about the Aircoins announcement, but just said, I'd probably get attacked if I was in Venezuela. Walk around with a smartphone, someone would just attack me and take the phone, because it's a little rougher sometimes. So, but the whole flip phone thing, where it's not like a smartphone that has like a lot more value, relatively speaking. One more question, or one more thing to talk about, because these things keep coming. There's this mobile phone company called Crypto Mobile that ships a whole bunch of phones that are pre-enabled with Dash wallets, Dash paper QR codes that get some. What if those could come with a Aircoins pre-downloaded on them?
Oh, we've talked about it, my friend. We've talked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, we haven't gone in depth too much about that, but yeah, no, that definitely came up in our conversations with the Dash team, and yeah, that would be amazing if Aircoins came pre-downloaded on the smartphones. Yeah.
So for those that don't know or aren't familiar, the last official numbers that were given out, that I think we're allowed to give out, which were published in December, it'll be a lot higher now, but we don't know what the current number is. 66,000 crypto mobile phones, with the majority being in Venezuela, and these phones come pre-installed have been sold in Venezuela, and they come pre-installed with Uphold, which is an exchange, a whole Dash ecosystem, the Dash wallet, and they did have Discover Dash app at one point, but I think we're working on a next phase generation thing. But anyway, this would be a great way, and I'm sure that will really excite the Aircoins community as well. Imagine the Aircoins app being pushed out to over 60,000 phones. I'm sure the number today is a lot higher. That number was from December. They've sold a lot more phones since then, so it's a great way to put that into people's hands. I do have a serious question though. If you enable a feature for people to be able to deposit Dash, you're then looking at substantial amounts. So then it becomes an issue of private keys, right? Because if they're collecting little bits amounts of Dash, that's understandable. But if people start depositing Dash on there to make it rain, or potentially use as a wallet to spend at places, can they download the seed? Is there any kind of recovery? Because I'm imagining you're looking after the keys, right? You're the custodian right now. So
yeah, so I mean that's something that we haven't really dug into all that much yet. We haven't really talked about depositing Dash, but yeah, we'd have to definitely figure something out from a security standpoint to make sure that we weren't the sole responsibility. So, and if anything ever happened, that the user would be able to recover their funds. But as of yet, that's not something that we've spoken about with the dashboard team is depositing Dash. But I'm sure it's something that will come up in the future.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from the advertising business use case perspective. Like if I was just a business owner and say I wanted to do a $1,000 or a $5,000 campaign using Dash and something that, that's substantial amount. So I think just having that extra bit, even if people just could download a 12-word, 24-word seed and be able to recover that on an Electrum wallet in case things did go wrong at some point, just as a backup measure, would go a long way. I think right now it's not needed, but I think as soon as you enable that functionality, I think that has to come with it for them, for people to really take it to the next level, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
time to wrap it up.
Yeah, like I was saying to the chaps before the podcast started, like we always aim to go 1 hour, but it always end up going like 1 hour and a half because, if we have great guests and great conversations and questions start flying, the live chat has been phenomenal. You guys have been awesome. You're engaged. You're as excited as we are. This is just the beginning of a beautiful partnership. I'm hoping more conversations will happen behind the scenes, and I'm hoping the strategic partnership that Dash has with Aircoins can grow into something beautiful. This is just the beginning. So thank you guys for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. We really appreciate it as well.
Thank you, Joel.
So before we do the closing part, so where can people go to find out more about Aircoins? What's the website? What's your Twitter address? Where should people go to learn more?
Our website is aircoins.co. And you can find us on pretty well every social media platform, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, LinkedIn. Just search Aircoins, you'll find us. Our Aircoins handle for Twitter is Aircoins_app. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just search Aircoins. It's all available on our website as well, aircoins.co.
Excellent. And yeah, and definitely check out their Telegram channel. It was lit yesterday. So that seems to be the place to be.
more important than anything, who cares about social media? Just visit your app store and download Aircoins. That's the best. That's the best thing you can do.
Right. Wow.
Don't.
I certainly know where I'm going for a run today.
There you go.
Excellent. So yeah, so there you go, folks. If you haven't done so already, whether you've got an Apple or an Android device, go to the App Store and search Aircoins, download the application. It's free, create an account, and happy hunting. There's Dash out there. So someone's got to collect them. It could be you.
Of these to collect in my area. Man, that's a lot. It's going to be like 12 by Monday.
Excellent. Okay, Joel, take us out, my friend.
All right, fantastic. So if you like what we're doing, obviously, like, comment, share, subscribe, or as Mark likes to say, smash for Dash, just so you know what that finally means. And we do audio-only version of this in case you, for some reason, are allergic to our pretty faces, or listen to this on the treadmill. So Mark puts that out every Saturday, puts out the post that has all the audio-only links for iTunes, Stitcher, all the other stuff. So we also do this thing called the after party, where the real fun begins. Already we kind of try to keep it fun here, but the stuff that we exercise our judgment and don't actually say here, we do say on the after party. It's kind of like this, but it's many, many more people. Goes into the wee hours of the morning until Mark turns into a werewolf. And then, so if you want to do that, you got to get to the Dash Talk Discord first. That's staydashy.com. How will you ever forget that URL? Especially since Mark just dropped it in the live chat. So you get there, you just start asking around, hey, where's the after party at? And just like a good old-fashioned speakeasy, 1, there will be alcohol, and 2, someone will induct you into the party. And then there you go from there.
Excellent. So make sure you get into Discord, even if you can't join us for the after party. Look, and if you're listening to this on the podcast via audio and it's no longer Friday wherever you are, still go to staydashy.com. It's a vibrant community. Even if you're new to Dash, come in, say hello, ask questions. We're open, welcoming, friendly community. Come in, say hello. So it's Friday evening where I am. So I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'm super excited to finish off this week with the Aircoins news. I'm going to be out over the weekend trying to got to catch them all. I'm going to be out there doing my best Pokemon Dash impression. Stay positive.
In fact, we have to come up with a new thing. Can't be gotta catch them all. It's got to be catch for Dash.
Catch for Dash. Excellent. So stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.